up, you guys? What is up, you guys? Long time no see. Since the last time I spoke with you, I recently actually seriously picked up my very first pair of plated shoes. I've put about 50 kilometers, maybe 50 to 60 kilometers on these things, and I've got to say that they are one of the most incredible shoes I've ever put on, not because of this whole concept of like saving energy and being able to move faster in a race, but because of just where the world has kind of like taken us with like the development of shoes and the use of them. And I mean, we could talk about the ethics of it, of whether it's like just to use in comparison to like the way things like used to be with like previous generations and lectures and stuff that you get from like the older generations of original running and track and field. But the thing is, you can complain about it all you want. It's here. It's been here. Everybody's using the damn shoes. I look on the line of every start line and I'm like, everybody's got these shoes on, so, you know, I might as well try them out. But recently in the mail, so the thing is like I said, I put like 60 kilometers in the shoes, and so I gotta say, for some people they work, and for other people they don't. They work. They work, and I like them. I love the quality of them. They feel great, and so I decided to go and order a fresh pair for my race up in Oregon, and I'm going to be using these on the track. They're really good. They're really expensive. God freaking hell, they're really expensive. That's my number one complaint about them. But here's my review, you guys, because I have not done an official race walking shoe product review in quite a long time, and this is kind of where the future of the shoe is going. And I have a surprise for you guys, just because I know we're talking about this shoe, but wait 1 second. Okay, here's the surprise, you guys. I went to our local running store, shout out to Milestone, and they had an early release. The shoe doesn't come out until July 26th of the Tokyo. This shoe is supposedly like, I don't know, they said like 15, 16 grams lighter than this shoe. But this is the new, this is the good. This is the newest version of, this is the Paris Sky, and this is the Sky Tokyo. So this Sky Tokyo is the one with the flatter plate, the plate that's closer to the foot, most similarly compared to this one, closer to the foot. But there's another variation. Obviously, everybody knows that Asics comes out with two pairs of these. They have the Sky, and then they have the Edge. And the Edge has a harder dip towards the bottom of the shoe. So right where you see this line goes, it goes deeper in, and that's for striders, while this one is marked for cadence people. So we talk about this conversation of cadence. I've done a little bit of research on it, because I'm like, dude, everybody's coming up with these new phrases, and they're like, everybody wants to be the guy who came up with the phrase. Cadence apparently is for people with a high cadence rate, while the stride one is for people with a long stride. So if you're a long stride, and I saw a comment online that explained this perfectly, is that when you're thinking cadence, think Racewalker, an athlete who's going tap 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 tap. But when you're thinking stride, think somebody who has a super long stride, like a good miler, right? You go jump, 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 jump. So not necessarily fast repetition, but a longer stride. So every race walker that I've heard talking about this shoe has remarked how because of the height, the stack height of this shoe, it causes you to have a shorter stride. I have, in my short experience with the shoe, have reflected that this is indeed true, that you do need a shorter stride. You can't overstride in this shoe, because a race walker will extend that front leg and stick that heel out to lock the knee, right? You can't do that in this shoe, because the heel is so damn soft that it can actually promote a bent knee. So what you want to try to do is land a little bit more under you, which is why race walkers are saying that this shoe leads to a shorter stride. And I wouldn't even argue that it leads to a shorter stride. I would argue that it requires a shorter stride. I've tried overstriding in these shoes. Good luck. You're going to have bent knees left and right. And so far, I've heard good reviews about this. I've heard that it's very similar to the Paris, but I have them both in my hands here, you guys. So I don't know if you guys have gotten the chance to do your own reviews on these, but this one is specifically going to be for race walkers. This shoe is phenomenal. This is the biggest difference for Racewalkers right here, you guys. Take a look at this. I'm going to give you the same shoe just so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? We're pulling out the left shoe. Here's the heel. Check out the heel here. Now check out the heel here, okay? So my biggest complaint about wearing these shoes is that when you do heel plant, it is so narrow that the odds of you rolling your ankle are very high. I have never rolled my ankles more than when I started using this shoe, especially around the track. Now, this is a brand new pair, but check it out. Here is a used pair, same shoe, used pair. This one has about 60 kilometers on it. The outside of this heel is so tremendously soft that when you're, the right shoe, when you're cranking around the track and your right leg is turning, you're going in that left direction, the right heel, because it's on the outside and it's traveling a farther distance than the inside foot, you're collapsing because your momentum is still moving in an outward direction on the track. So I have rolled my right foot specifically more than a handful of times while walking around the track on this. I will say though that that problem did not exist within the first 30 kilometers of the shoe. Now, here's other facts that I've heard people say about these shoes is that if you want to use them when they're at their most potent, you have to use them within like 10 to 20 kilometers of the lifespan of the shoe. That first 10 to 20 kilometers is when you're going to have the most response of where people are saying you're getting whatever, that 3 to 4% improvement in performance. I would argue that anything past 30K, the shoe starts to go flat because that's where I started to find the issues. The heel was no longer stable on this one. And if you guys can see the narrowness of this shoe, I'm a big fan of Asics, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys one last shoe to look at. Okay, check it out. The narrowness of this shoe leads to the outward collapse. And so what I found was that your foot actually on the right side, if I'm walking around the track, this is the right shoe, your foot falls out of the shoe eventually because the stack height is so high and the weight of your body compresses the shoe so much that you're falling out of the shoe to the right. So the only two solutions that I think mentally I can think of this is to have a shoe that's definite form fitting to your foot or to only save these shoes for the road. But I know that that's not going to happen because people need to use them on the track. So the last shoe I'm going to show you guys is the one that I use for everyday training. It's the Hyperspeed, all the variations for the most part. The 4, this is the 4, and I think the 5 is coming out soon, but check out the heel on this shoe. So you see how the heel kind of swings out a little bit more on this, right? It is essentially the same kind of top of the shoe. The design is the same on the right, but the heel swings out here, so when you're extending that right leg and you're planting it onto the ground, this little swing out of the foam prevents you from rolling off the foot. So when people are talking about stable, it doesn't feel stable, you're wobbling, it's because the stack height is so high and the plate is so close to the foot that when you hit the foam, your foot feels like this. It's like shaking, it's like rocking left and right. This shoe does not have a high enough stack height to do that. This is why I train in them, because you got to strengthen your tendons and stuff. So I've got my old pair, I've got my fresh pair that for the race should feel good for anywhere between 0 to 20K. I'm under the philosophy of wearing a fresh pair of shoes for a race, especially if you're already used to that shoe. And then you have this thing, which, like I said, I was excited to share with you guys, is this new variation of the shoe, the Tokyo. The Tokyo, it would seem that they addressed this issue. So where the heel on this side is very narrow and close to the weight, where the majority of the weight lands, it swings out a little bit here. So on the Tokyo, you have a little bit more external foam, but already what I'm hearing, which I haven't gotten the chance to look at this, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, but I hear people are collapsing on the inside of the foot. But again, I actually think they put more foam on the outside and on the inside of this shoe. I have yet to try it out, but this is a tremendously lighter shoe. I can feel the difference. This is way lighter than this, and I think it's mostly like front heavy. So where's the center? Yeah, so that the center would be like right there. Yeah, that's pretty balanced. And then this one, that's front. Okay, there we go. Still a little bit front heavy. Still a little bit front heavy. There you go. You got to put it really near the front. A majority of the weight of this shoe is in the front of the shoe. So if I go like kind of center, it's still going to fall forward. The meats and potatoes are up here, I would say. I will not be racing in these anytime soon because I'm not a big fan of trying out new shoes so close to the race. But I thought you guys would get a kick out of this, seeing one and hearing the opinions of a race walker in person. The plate is in a very similar position. I have high hopes for this shoe, and then I will be coming back to do a review on what I actually think of this shoe after Outdoor Nationals in Eugene, Oregon, which is like August 1st or the 2nd, I forget. But here's both the Tokyo together. Those are the heel. That's the inside of the shoe. And here is the outside of the shoe. That heel is very big. And the bottom of the shoe, may I say, is very flat in comparison to the Paris. So I'm gonna go out for my walk right now. It's midday, but check this out, you guys. The used pair of shoes that I have. Look at the areas of wear and tear. So this foam right here, in comparison, is the left shoe. This is the right shoe. And then the inside, look where that heel kick swings through. And I always have that issue. So that should be fairly normal, but I always kick through right here. That's all I got to say. I'm super excited. I thought this would be a cool video to make, and especially considering since I haven't made a video specifically about race walking in a while, I thought I would share. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys either in good old Oregon at USA Outdoor Nationals, where people will be vying for their places for the Japan World Championships, or I'll see you at a race soon after. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out. Bye.